You thought you'd seen every scandal in the rap world, right? Wrong, because just when you believed the Harris family drama couldn't sink any lower, the universe said, "Hold my Red Bull," and turned King Harris Hospital Room into the plotline of a blockbuster thriller. Imagine this: King Harris barely holding on after a whirlwind of jailhouse chaos, suddenly snatched straight out of his ICU bed like a scene ripped from a Netflix crime doc. No security alarms blaring, no doctors screaming, just poof, gone. Houdini could never. NT. The self-proclaimed King of the South transformed into the King of Panic, reportedly screaming for justice like Liam Neeson in Taken, but without the calm phone call skills. One minute, he's praying over his son's recovery. The next, he's demanding answers like he's about to subpoena the entire hospital staff and half of Atlanta. This isn't just drama, it's apocalyptic reality TV that makes the Kardashians. Fights about salad bowls look like bedtime lullabies. We're talking betrayal, chaos, conspiracy theories, and a level of family meltdown so wild it could power Zeus lightning bolts. Buckle up, because this scandal doesn't whisper. It kicks down the door and screams in your face. Let's rewind this circus for a second. King Harris, the kid who grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth, but decided it was cooler to trade it in for handcuffs and mugshots, was supposed to be on the mend. The ICU wasn't meant to be a stage, but if we've learned anything about the Harris family, it's that they can turn a hospital hallway into a primetime episode faster than you can say love and hip-hop. Now picture it. The beeping monitors, the hushed doctors, the family clinging on to hope. And suddenly, boom, the boy is gone. Not discharged, not transferred, gone. Snatched like a handbag at a Vegas casino. You can't make this up. Though honestly, if you pitched it to Netflix, it'd greenlight it in 2 seconds and add an ominous soundtrack. So how does someone disappear from an ICU? These are the wings of the hospital that are supposed to be Fort Knox with Fort drips. Security tighter than TSA. You can't even smuggle in a McChicken sandwich without a nurse catching you. But somehow, someone swooped in and turned King Harris into a vanishing act. Fans online immediately went into meltdown mode. "This ain't ICU, this is CSI," screamed one viral tweet. Another posted, "Bro skipped the recovery arc and jumped straight into a kidnapping subplot." And then there's T.I. This man has seen his share of controversy. But nothing prepares a father for the moment your child disappears while hooked to tubes and wires. Reports say T.I. stormed through the hospital like Samuel L. Jackson in Snakes on a plane, furious, unhinged, and ready to sue somebody's grandmother if it came down to it. He wasn't just raising his voice. He was shaking the walls, demanding answers from every nurse, janitor, and vending machine in sight. But here's where it gets spicier. People are already whispering about the inside job theory. How does someone walk out of a hospital ICU with a high-profile rapper's son without somebody knowing? Fans are comparing it to the great Kim Kardashian Paris heist of 2016 only. Instead of stolen diamonds, it's a missing Harris heir. Theories are flying: rival rappers, jealous enemies, maybe even people inside the Harris circle pulling the strings. Because, let's be honest, in the hip-hop soap opera, betrayal is basically a family tradition. Social media did what social media does best: turn trauma into memes. One side of Twitter is dead serious, painting this like an episode of Power, where enemies plot revenge arcs in dimly lit rooms. The other side, they're clowning with captions like, "King Harris ain't kidnapped, he just snuck out for Popeyes." Or T.I. screaming, "Where's my son?" Louder than fans scream, "Free young thug." Savage, unforgiving. The internet doesn't wait for the facts, it crafts its own chaotic truth. And then came the leaks. Oh yes, you didn't think a Harris scandal would stay sealed, did you? Word is, a nursor, maybe a hospital staffer with sticky fingers, leaked surveillance footage snippets. Grainy images, blurred faces, shadows moving through sterile hallways like something out of American Horror Story. One shot allegedly shows a hooded figure pushing what looks like a wheelchair toward an emergency exit. Another frame, suspiciously cut off, shows King Harris slumped forward, his face barely visible. Within minutes, the clips hit Instagram blogs. And every gossip site from Hollywood Unlocked to your cousin's messy Facebook timeline ran with it. And the first reactions: pure chaos. This ain't no kidnapping. This is clout-chasing performance art. One commentator snarked. Another said, "Y'all Harris folks been doing reality TV so long. You can't tell me this ain't scripted." That's the level of disbelief. We're in such a circus era that folks don't know what's real scandal and what's VH1 promo anymore. Meanwhile, insiders claim Tiny King's mom was hysterical, calling anyone who would pick up. Her voice reportedly shook as she screamed, "Where's my baby?" And look, say what you want about Tiny and her reality TV antics, but when it comes to her kids, the mama bear energy is unmatched. They say she threatened to chain herself to the hospital entrance till answers surfaced. But what really sent fans spiraling was the timing. King Harris had just survived a wave of controversies, jailhouse brawls, ICU scares, the kind of headlines that make pastors clutch their pearls. And just as people thought the drama meter hit its max, the knob broke off and the story turned into something darker than anyone could imagine. The optics: horrific. The symbolism: too juicy for the public not to eat up. It wasn't just a disappearance. It was a scandal cocktail shaken with betrayal, paranoia, and generational trauma. And let's not pretend T.I. doesn't already have enemies lining up. Like they're waiting for Jordans to drop. From rap beefs to courtroom battles, the man's been at war with half the industry for decades. So the question, echoing louder than a bass drop, is simple. Was this personal? Was this revenge? Or was it the ultimate humiliation and attack on T.I. through the most vulnerable member of his family? Fans started tagging every celebrity under the sun. "Yo, 50 Cent, you always got jokes, what's the move now?" Kanye, "Blink twice if you planned this." Boosie, "Where are you at?" This got your chaos energy written all over it. Outrage mixed with conspiracy theories created a digital hurricane. Some swore they saw connections between King's disappearance and past beefs with Atlanta's street circles. Others accused the hospital of covering up a security failure so bad it makes Fyre Festival look organized. And here's the kicker. While the internet debated, law enforcement played it cooler than iced tea. Official statements were vague. "We are investigating the disappearance." Fact. No suspects named, no leads revealed, nothing to satisfy the rabid hunger of fans desperate for details. It only fueled the theories. Cops are in on it. Hospitals hiding something. This ain't no kidnapping, it's a smokescreen. The scandal hit different because it wasn't just about King Harris. It was about the Harris name, the dynasty T.I. built off rhymes, hustle, and headlines. And now that dynasty looked like it was falling apart faster than a cheap wig in the rain. Make no mistake, it wasn't just another story. This was a ticking time bomb of drama, and the explosion had only just begun. If part one felt like a thriller, part two is where the scandal morphs into a full-blown, no-seatbelt roller coaster. Because the moment news of King Harris ICU kidnapping broke, celebrities, influencers, and every messy cousin with Wi-Fi turned into amateur detectives. Forget the FBI Witter detectives had already solved the case 3 times, blamed 4 different rappers, and written 5 conspiracy threads before breakfast. First, let's talk celebrity reactions. The rap world thrives on chaos, and this story was red meat for every artist who lives for attention. Boosie, never one to keep his opinions locked up, allegedly went live faster than you could type clout. He puffed his blunt, adjusted his hat, and basically said, if this happened in Louisiana, we'd already have answers. Translation, Atlanta. Y'all slipping? Fans instantly clipped it, slapped captions like Boosie, the FBI director now, and sent it viral. Then came 50 Cent, because of course he did. If there's scandal in hip-hop, 50 Cent has jokes loading like bullets in a clip. He posted a cryptic meme, a hospital bed with the caption, "I see you" means I see you, unless somebody takes you first. Savage. The internet lost it. One fan commented, 50 Cent gone meme, your funeral if it gets likes. Another added, Diddy somewhere sweating cause he knows 50 about to blame him for this too. Speaking of Diddy, his name somehow got dragged into the mess because why not? Fans started connecting dots that didn't exist. King Harris gone missing, T.I. screaming, and Diddy still fighting cases. Coincidence? I don't think so. Didn't matter if the logic was shakier than a Jenga tower in an earthquake. On social media, vibes count more than facts. And the memes. One viral clip showed someone wheeling a mannequin out of Walmart with the caption, King Harris leaving the ICU. Like, another meme had T.I. edited into Liam Neeson's Taken monologue. I will find you and I will sue you. Brutal. No mercy. Brutal. No mercy. But beyond the jokes, the outrage was boiling. Fans accused the hospital of being complicit. How do you lose a whole human being? One tweet read, This ain't losing AirPods in the couch. This is a living, breathing person. Protesters even showed up outside the hospital with signs like, Justice for King, and I see you, or I see you later. Chaos wasn't just online anymore. It had spilled into the streets, and then came. The plot twist nobody saw coming, a mysterious voice note leak. Blogs claimed it came from inside the Harris circle. In the muffled audio, a voice sounding suspiciously like King's allegedly whispered, They moving me to ain't safe here. Immediately, the internet treated it like it was the Watergate tapes. Was King in on it? Was he kidnapped? Or was this an orchestrated escape? Some swore it was fake AI-generated clout bait. Others doubled down. This proves King staged it to duck accountability. Because, let's not forget, King Harris has a history of wild antics. Jail fights, viral meltdowns, drama that would make Zeus say, chill, son. So, of course, skeptics asked, was this kidnapping real? Or just another chapter in his attention Olympics career? One ruthless tweet summed it up. King Harris ain't kidnapped. He's auditioning for Power Book 7. Ouch. Meanwhile, the Harris family feud meter was spiking. Allegedly, arguments broke out between T.I. and Tiny about who dropped the ball. Tiny blamed security. T.I. blamed the hospital. Insiders whispered that even Zonique, King's sister, was throwing shade behind the scenes. Imagine the Kardashians, but swap salad bowls for ICU wristbands. And the twists didn't stop there. Out of nowhere, a blurry video surfaced online. ALLEGEDLY showing King Harris at a gas station hours after his abduction. The clip was grainy, filmed from a dashcam, but fans claimed the dreadlocks and hoodie matched King's look. Instantly, the hashtags went wild. Hashtag I see you escape. Hashtag King spotted. Hashtag T, we need answers. Some fans clowned, kidnapped. More like kidnapped by the munchies. Others speculated the video was staged by bloggers desperate for clicks. But the public outrage didn't fade, escalated. Think Game of Thrones level chaos, but with Instagram lives instead of dragons. Every celebrity weighed in. Cardi B allegedly posted, "This ain't it. Protect these kids." Nicki Minaj threw her own subliminal writing, "When you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes." Instantly. Fan armies turned it into another Cardi versus Nicki Cold War, dragging King Harris' name into Stan beef. Because, of course they did. The Harris brand was imploding in real time. Business partners reportedly paused deals. Promoters whispered that future bookings could tank if King's name kept trending for all the wrong reasons. And T.I., the man who once rapped about handling business, like a G, looked less like a general and more like a frantic dad drowning in headlines. And let's talk about Atlanta, the city that gave us legends, scandals, and trap anthems. Locals were divided. Some said, this makes us look soft. How does this happen in the A? Others defended the Harris family, calling it a targeted attack on Atlanta royalty. But the loudest voices? The comedians, of course. One viral skit showed a fake nurse letting King walk out with the caption, "When you recognize the patient's daddy is T.I. and you don't want smoke, Millions of views. Instant classic. The meme machine wasn't slowing down. TikTok creators turned it into challenges. One trend had people pretending to escape ICU beds while dramatic music played. Another trend edited T.I.'s voice screaming, "Where's my son?" over random movie scenes. Savage creativity at its peak. But under the jokes, a darker narrative was forming. Journalists hinted at deeper rumors of street beef, unsettled debts, even whispers of organized retaliation. "This ain't just a kidnapping, it's a message," one blogger claimed. Fans latched on, dissecting every rumor like they were decoding Da Vinci's Code. And yet, amidst the chaos, one truth emerged. The Harris name was being dragged through the mud harder than ever. The internet wasn't just reacting, they were rewriting the family's legacy, one meme at a time. King Harris had become less of a person and more of a symbol of drama, dysfunction, and dangerous fame. At this point, the scandal wasn't just big, it was biblical. And the storm wasn't done. The real aftershocks were just around the corner. Aftermath, consequences, and reputations hanging by a thread. The dust hadn't even settled when the real chaos began, the aftermath. If you thought the kidnapping itself was wild, the fallout was the kind of nuclear meltdown that makes every other rap scandal look like a playground spat. The Harris family went from high-profile royalty to tabloid catnip overnight. First off, let's talk reputation. T.I. has always styled himself as the king of the South, but suddenly, he was being dragged across the internet like a bad mixtape. Headlines called him everything from negligent dad to Atlanta's Liam Neeson wannabe. Late-night comedians couldn't resist. One monologue joked, T.I. said he has a particular set of skills. Apparently, none of them involve keeping track of his son. The audience howled. Savage. And Tiny-O. Tiny, the matriarch, who has fought battles in music, reality TV, and life itself, was now portrayed as the frantic mom who let it all happen. Blogs accused her of being too busy chasing Instagram filters to notice what was going on in the ICU. Unfair? Sure, but the internet doesn't play fair. It plays viral. And once you're trending for the wrong reasons, no prayer circle can save you. Meanwhile, King Harris himself became both a victim and a villain. Half the internet painted him as a tragic figure, a kid born into fame, chewed up by the machine. The other half roasted him mercilessly. Bro wasn't kidnapped. He just rage quit reality. Memes showed King photoshopped on milk cartons with captions like, "Have you seen me?" called TMZ. Others compared him to Carmen Sandiego, disappearing in style. The joke economy was thriving, even as the Harris legacy was burning down. But the consequences weren't just online. Law enforcement tightened their grip, dragging the hospital under scrutiny. Investigations revealed shocking lapses, broken security cameras, understaffed guards, doors left unlocked. Suddenly, the ICU looked less like a fortress and more like a motel. 6 lawsuits loomed. T.I. reportedly threatened to own this hospital by Christmas. Lawyers circled like sharks at feeding. And then came the celebrity distance. Once upon a time, everyone wanted a selfie with T.I. and King. Now, suddenly artists were busy when the Harris family called. Promoters pulled out of shows worried this scandal would overshadow the music. Endorsement deals evaporated. One brand allegedly dropped King's name from a promo faster than you can delete a tweet. The message was clear. Scandal sells clicks, but it kills contracts. Public perception of King shifted from wild but harmless to walking liability. Parents started side-eyeing their kids for playing his music. Community leaders whispered about how his antics made Atlanta look reckless. Even some of his peers turned on him. One up-and-coming rapper posted, "Don't bring your drama to my shows. I came to perform, not dodge kidnappers." Ouch. But here's where it gets Shakespearean. The family itself began fracturing. Insiders claimed that T.I. and Tiny's marriage hit a breaking point. Arguments leaked literal audio clips of screaming matches over blame. "You should have done more." "No, you should have done more." It was the kind of raw chaos usually saved for VH1 reunions. But here it was bleeding out into real life. And the cherry on top, the conspiracy theories refused to die. Some fans swore King staged the whole thing for clout. Others said enemies in the industry orchestrated it to humiliate T.I. and the wildest theory, that the hospital was part of a larger cover-up connected to underground Atlanta beef nobody dared speak out loud. It was less of a scandal and more of a never-ending soap opera with too many writers. But what about King himself? Days later, he reappeared alive, battered but not broken. His return was met with mixed emotions, relief, suspicion, and plenty of jokes. He sat down for a live stream, rambling about not being safe, fake love, and finding out who's real. Instead of clearing the air, he just poured gasoline on the fire. Fans spammed the chat. So, were you kidnapped or nah? Blink twice if this was promo. This live is faker than your rap career. Savage doesn't even begin to cover it. The aftermath for the Harris brand was brutal. They were no longer just a hip-hop dynasty. They were walking, talking scandal bait. Every move, every statement, every Instagram post was dissected under a microscope. The trust was gone. The respect was dented. The dynasty looked like it had been cracked open, spilling secrets for the world to feast on. And yet, the internet couldn't look away. Like a car crash on the freeway, people knew it was messy, ugly, and destructive, but they slowed down to watch anyway. Because that's the dark magic of a Harris scandal. It's chaos you can't unsee, as the dust finally started to settle. One thing became clear. This wasn't just a kidnapping story. It was a cautionary tale about fame, family, and the price of living under the relentless spotlight. King Harris had gone from ICU patient to headline scandal to living meme in a matter of days. And the Harris family, they were left screaming for justice in a world that prefers punchlines over compassion. The legacy, forever tainted. The fans, forever entertained. The truth, forever twisted. And if you think this is the end of the saga, you clearly don't know how the Harris family operates. Scandals don't end here, they reload. Scandals don't end here, they reload. So here we are, another Harris scandal wrapped up like a burrito stuffed with chaos. Paranoia and enough drama to make the Kardashians call their producers and say, "We quit." King Harris didn't just vanish from the ICU, he vanished from reality. Straight into the internet's meme factory and T.I. The man screamed for justice louder than fans scream for Beyoncé tickets. Still no real answers. But let's keep it 100. This is bigger than King Harris. This is about how fame can chew you up, spit you out, and then turn your pain into TikTok challenges. It's about how one family can dominate headlines for all the wrong reasons. And it's about how, deep down, we all love the drama because you wouldn't be here listening if you didn't. Don't lie. You're hooked. Now, here's where you come in. If you want every scandal, every leak, every messy feud delivered with more spice than your grandma's hot sauce, then smash that like button like it owes you money. Drop a comment below. Do you think King Harris was really kidnapped? Or was this just a clout-chasing stunt gone wrong? And don't just scroll past, hit subscribe, because this circus doesn't close. It just packs up and moves to the next city. On this channel, scandals don't sleep. Secrets don't stay buried. And messy stories, they don't end, they multiply. So stick around because tomorrow's headlines are already loading. This is your front row ticket to chaos. This is your one-stop shop for the truth. They don't want you to hear but will scream louder than T.I. at a hospital nurse's station. This is Expose Express, where scandal lives forever.